Alrighty, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed the new intro. Do a little double take on the intro for everybody. We're back. We are back. We are in the legal tampering window for the NFL this week. We have your boy Bryn hosting as always. We got Spoon over here to my left, and then up in that little box up top, we got Riley, who has some internet connection issues, so he will be joining us via voice only today. He doesn't have a video, so we're going voice only. So just keep an eye on that little box. If you see little gray marks around it, that means Riley's talking. Other than that, let's dive right into this. I mean,
there's a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. We are in legal tampering window, and you may be sitting at home going, what the is legal tampering? Legal tampering is when the NFL decided that, there should be almost a little buffer between the time you negotiate and the time you can actually sign a deal. So it just allows players who are set to become free agents the opportunity to find out what other teams think they are worth, negotiate contracts, and agree to terms. So that's where we're at right now. It is currently Tuesday, 3/12/2024 at, just about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday when it comes out, some other things may have happened, but we're going to go over what has happened up until now. And if any news breaks while we're on recording, we'll mention that as well. So let's start with, you guys want to start with quarterbacks? Just get that out of the way.
Yeah. Go right ahead.
All right. I mean, the big one, everybody was, thinking about Kirk Cousins. The first domino falls. Atlanta, 4 years, $180 million, max value of 182 if he wins the Super Bowl. The first 2 years of it, fully guaranteed $90 million. Then the third year, guaranteed $10 million. So after that, it becomes game checks and other things along those lines. But at signing, he is guaranteed at least $100 million on this deal. And question for you boys, who is the highest ever paid quarterback in NFL history off NFL contracts only? I was kind of surprised by this answer.
I want to say Pat because I think it was whenever he was first signed, but then it got beat by someone.
No, this is like all-time contracts. Every contract they've ever signed, all put towards one value. Not like one contract, like their total money made in the NFL.
Was it McNabb?
Nope.
I would say Phillip Rivers, maybe.
Nope.
Wasn't it a Vikings quarterback?
Nope.
And it's not Drew Brees.
Nope. You guys give up?
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell us.
Aaron Rodgers is number one. Number two?
If I would have finished my statement, I was saying, yeah, I thought Patrick Mahomes was the highest paid all time, and then I think he got beat by Aaron Rodgers recently. That's literally where I was going with that. But
well, Spoon, do you know who number two is?
Patrick Mahomes.
Kirk Cousins.
Really? With this Atlanta deal?
After this guarantee, with these guarantees in this Atlanta deal, he has moved into second highest paid quarterback ever, passing Brady, both Manning brothers, Rivers, Breeze, all of them. Every one of them. Crazy for a dude who has 2 total playoff wins in his career. Or no, 1 playoff win in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, you called it, though. You said, you were like, oh, yeah, he's definitely going to Atlanta. You've been saying it for like a month, 2 months now.
Yeah, no, this was always the destination. Now, I thought it would be a 2 to 3 year contract worth about $90 million. Yeah. Because I thought we were gonna. I said, Minnesota can offer him a 1 year, $40 million fully guaranteed, and I'll be ecstatic. But that is all I want. I don't want anything more, or anything less. I don't want.
But 4 year, $180 million. That's
a lot.
Pretty steep.
Yeah, that's a lot. Other quarterback news: we got Russell Wilson going to Pittsburgh on a $1.2 million vet minimum.
Which I will shout out Riley. He called that.
Riley called that. I was shocked. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Definitely shocked.
You can't see. I'm sitting here smiling, nodding my head.
Good thing we can't see you then.
Yeah, I was gonna give a shout out to him because he definitely called in our group chat the other day. He was like, "Oh, he definitely goes to Pittsburgh. Why not?"
Yeah.
And his reasonings were because they have the better weapons, like the better defense. And I countered it and I said, honestly, like I would take the wide receiver duo in Vegas. I still think he should have signed in Vegas.
I still think he should have signed in Vegas too. But
I just think that with Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams being his receivers. I think that's a great wide receiver duo that he could put up a ton of stats with. And I mean, look on the defensive side, you either choosing TJ Watt or Max Crosby. Your choice. Which one do you want?
Yeah, who
Like
do you
both
want?
great defensive linemen.
But that's
And-
I know this is kind of off topic, but I think that Crosby could be on the trade market if the Raiders are looking to move up in the draft.
No chance.
No,
0% chance.
No, I don't see that happening at all.
What?
They just signed Wilkins. They want that D line to be scary.
But I mean, Riley called where Russ was going.
Yeah.
Who knows? He might be right, but I don't think that happens.
So
I happen to be right a lot. It's just very
not
rarely
true.
does it get called out.
That's not true.
Hey,
That's not true. All right. So next up, we got Baker Mayfield going back to Tampa Bay, and then we got some bridge moves. I feel like we got some bridge moves at quarterback.
a lot of bridge moves.
Baker secured his bag. Good for him. You know,
So happy for him. I'll be
3
wearing
years.
I will be wearing a Baker Mayfield Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey probably next season on the pod. So get ready for it.
3 years, $100 million. Good for him. But we have Garner Minshew going to the Raiders, 2 years, $25 million. We have Jacoby Brissett going to New England, 1 year, $8 million. And then we have Tyrod Taylor signing with the Jets and Drew Lock signing with the Giants earlier today. And then I'm going to take a second here. I would just like to say that the Minnesota Vikings have signed Sam Darnold to a contract for 1 year, $10 million.
So
And what were you going to say?
no, go ahead. I was going to say, so with Sam Darnold being in Minnesota right now, I know that obviously you're a Vikings fan. Would you trust him to be your starter, or do you think this is just a sign like, hey, like he's a great backup, let's let him back up whoever, I don't know, or maybe teach a little bit to whoever we draft?
So if you don't know, Josh McCown just became our new quarterbacks coach in Minnesota. He and Sam played together on the Jets. They're very close. Sam Darnold obviously got to spend last year learning under Kyle Shanahan. And everything I've heard, I've been fighting it because I didn't want to believe Sam Darnold was going to be a Viking, and I didn't want to believe Kirk Cousins was going to leave, even though I knew it was going to happen. Everything I have heard about Sam Darnold is in league circles, non-fan based circles, that everybody believes this kid still has the weapons to become a good quarterback in the NFL. This and that. I'm not jumping in on that hype train. I think
sold.
he is even Colin Cowherd earlier today went on his show and was like, Sam Darnold's going to be a winner in Minnesota. This is a huge move for the Vikings. It's going to be so good for them. And I'm not on that train. I do think that if there's anybody who can get a quarterback right, it is Kevin O'Connell. But I am not jumping on the train of Sam Darnold for starter. I think that our quarterback of the future is not on the roster currently, and I would like it to see us trade up in the draft and go get the guy that Kevin O'Connell wants. And personally, I think that's Drake May. You might be shocked to find out that our new quarterbacks coach, as I mentioned, Josh McCown, coached Drake May on his high school football team back in the day. So lots of ties to the quarterback coach there. So who knows?
Right, go ahead.
I don't know what's going to happen with that. The Vikings told Kirk Cousins no last offseason, and then they told him, we'll give you 1 year, $40 million this year. Anything over that, go see what you're worth. Have a good day. So at the end of the day, the Vikings could have signed Kirk to a team-friendly deal compared to what most quarterbacks make. And I think if the Vikings had told Kirk, hey, listen, we'll give you 3 years, $100 million, I think he would have done it. But they don't want that. They want a new young quarterback. So they have a plan. I don't know what that plan is. So just got to wait and see.
You did already say Gardner Minshew to Vegas, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that or not, but I was going to move on because there was two, I mean, they're not like high tier quarterbacks, but I did see that Jameis is going to the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, he is.
And I did see that Marcus Mariota was signed to the Commanders.
Yep, saw that too.
Just wanted to bring those up just to finish out the quarterback spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Running back's been crazy too, though. You want to move on to that?
We more than yeah. I'm happy to.
Oh, running back has been crazy, dude. Saquon signing with the Eagles. I mean, that is about to be scary.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Spoon?
I mean,
Dallas. How's Dallas feel about
we've
that?
already been playing him, so it doesn't really matter. It's just, hey, now we're playing him 2 different times out of the year than we were whenever they were playing. Whenever he was with the Giants. Now, if I was a Giants fan, I'd be pissed because you don't want to see your star running back go to a division rival by any means.
Did you guys see what Tiki Barber said about it?
I did.
He was straight calling Saquon out.
I mean, I love it. That's the energy I want. I want that energy.
And realistically, I saw a post earlier today, too, that said, oh, Saquon's going to be pissed off after week 7 because, once again, Jalen Hurts is stealing another goal line carry from him and scoring like his 7th touchdown. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's not wrong. Like, that's literally what's going to be going on all season. They're going to do that fucking push.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is just going to steal touchdowns from Saquon and make him basically I know we play fantasy, and it's just he's not going to be fantasy reliable after that.
Here's the thing, though. The Giants had the 32nd run block win rate last season. 32nd. The Eagles were number 1 in run block win rate. Saquon's going to be scoring from the 20. He's not going to have to score from the 1. He's going to be scoring from the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50.
If he doesn't get injured after week 4, congratulations.
Man,
you got yourself a great guy. But
I would be concerned with this if I was you.
That's what I'm not concerned because that's what I was telling somebody earlier. I was like, oh, so we got to worry about Saquon for like the first 5-6 weeks, and then he's going to be injured for the rest of the season. Cool. Because literally every other season he gets injured. Hey, guess what? He's due to get injured this season because he was fine. Well, no, he missed like, 2-3 games last year?
I don't remember. I don't have it up in front of me.
He'll probably end up playing like 4 games, miss the rest of the season because of an injury. So
I'm just saying, if he stays healthy, that's a scary thing for the rest of the NFC.
But there's a lot more running backs to touch on here, though.
There are, including Minnesota and Green Bay, both getting new running backs. Green Bay goes out and signs Josh Jacobs to a 4-year, $48 million average annual value of $12 million a year, and they cut Aaron Jones right after, who the Minnesota Vikings decided, hey, we'll throw a 1-year, $7 million contract your way so you can play Green Bay twice next year.
So no longer are you going to be able to talk shit on Aaron Jones now.
That's fine. Hey, here's my thing. I'm a team guy, all right? I don't care what name's on the back of the jersey, only on the front. When you put my jersey on, I will die for you. You take my jersey off, you're fucking dead to me. Okay? That's Aaron Jones.
You're fine with that.
Welcome to Minnesota. Welcome to Minnesota. We love to have you. Let's go kick Green Bay's ass twice a year.
Do you want to hear who won that, though? The Packers definitely got a better signing out of that.
Oh, well, I agree. I agree completely.
Okay.
But
as long as you're not upset with it, but
no. The best part is we have a friend. His name is Blake. He's a huge Packer fan. He's a very good friend of ours. And yesterday I called to talk to him about the signing of Josh Jacobs before Aaron Jones had been released. And he was beside himself. Green Bay is up in flames right now over it. They were pissed that they signed Jacobs, and they were adamant that Aaron Jones is still just fine. He's still a great running back, and there was no reason to sign Jacobs. No reason at all. No reason. So Green Bay was all in on Jones too. That's what I said. I was like, Aaron Jones is like a C+ starter and like a B+ committee guy, and Josh Jacobs is an A+ starter.
Yeah. So they're gonna get great production out of him like right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy in Minnesota. I love Ty Chandler. We cut Alexander Madison. Hate to see him go, but he didn't play that well, so not super sad in that regard. But pair Ty Chandler with Aaron Jones, and that's a B+ running back duo right there that I'm perfectly happy with. Yeah. And
you only signed him for $7 million.
Yeah, $7 million. Fucking, and he's gonna be motivated. Fucking, I'm all in on that move. I liked it a lot. We also have some other running back news in the NFC North. DeAndre Swift signs with the Bears. Yep. 3 years, $24 million. How you feel about that, Riley?
I don't know. When I evaluate free agent signings, like I think to myself, is this making the team better?
Yep.
And there has been a couple signings, the Swift deal included, where yes, I think they made the team better. But like we drafted a rookie last year who played well. We have Khalil Herbert who plays well in a committee.
Yeah.
Between that and we signed Gerald Everett as our tight end too. It's like, yes, these moves are making the team better, but how utilized are these players going to be? That's really my only concern with the Swift trade is
Or
big
Swift
of an
signing.
impact
Swift
he's-
signing.
Yeah, the Swift signing. My bad.
I mean,
is-
I don't hate it. I don't think I'm kind of. I've never been high on DeAndre Swift. Like, he did have that one great game against the Vikings, funny enough, last season. But he was also running behind that Eagles O-line who was literally giving him 7 yards of carry before contact. Like, it was crazy. So
yeah, no,
I'm not
this,
huge on him.
This signing, I could very well see ending really well, or I could see it going very badly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to play well in the committee. We do have some other running back news, though.
There's a couple
Spoon.
more running back news that I want.
Boone, I'm so sorry that you had to lose Tony Pollard.
I'm not upset. You know I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm upset about is that Derrick Henry went somewhere else.
I was about to say, hold on, we're not there yet.
Go ahead.
Tony Pollard signs with the Tennessee Titans, 3 years, $24 million. Good deal for him. Good for Tony Pollard. Go get your bag, bud. But then we have Gus Edwards signing with the Chargers, 2 years, $6.5 million, as well as who he's replacing, Austin Eckler, signs with the Commanders, which I thought was a really intriguing move for 2 years, $11.4 million. That's
very cheap.
Very cheap for a very bad team. I did not understand it at all. I was very shocked.
Well, I was going to say, that I've been very low on Austin Eckler.
I've been high on him.
And you've been high on him, but I'm just saying that the Commanders just signed him for 2 years, $11.4 million. I would have took him for 2 years, like $16 million. I would have been fine paying him $8 million a year.
Yeah,
I would have been happy with that.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
Go ahead.
The Bucks are keeping Levante David with a 1 year, $10 million deal in Tampa Bay. Just happened. Ian Rappaport reports. So sorry to interrupt.
They're going to keep coming out all day.
Yep. And keep them coming.
I like
as
that.
You were saying.
I like that Eckler signing from a fantasy point of view, just because I think he's going to get a large share of the
touches.
Yeah, the touches share in.
Yep.
Like, if you're Austin Eckler, you're going to go from living in LA, an amazing place to live when you're somebody who has a lot of money. When you're wealthy, it's an amazing place to live.
Say it.
And then you go to Washington, D.C., one of the highest crime rates in the country, on a deal that you don't really, I feel like, undervalues you.
And you want to hear the crazy thing about DC too? I know that people always talk highly about LA traffic. DC traffic is some of the worst traffic I've ever gone through. Yeah. It is so crowded there, and everybody's just like, oh, like LA is so bad. I'm like, dude, have you ever sat in 3 hours standstill traffic in DC multiple times? I have.
Yeah. So it just that seemed really odd to me that they would sign that. But last but not least, we have Spoon's Man of the Hour, Derrick Henry, 2 years, $16 million, $8 million a year. If this doesn't scream that running backs aren't going to get paid ever, I don't know what does. You have Josh Jacobs, $12 million a year. You have Saquon Barkley for just over $12 million a year. You have Derrick Henry for $8 million a year. Eckler for $6 million a year. Like, these are big name dudes that are all signing for pennies on the dollar. I mean, Adrian Peterson got $12 million a year in 2013.
You know what really puts this all into perspective?
What?
If you look at Saquon Barkley's deal and look at Darnell Mooney's deal on the Falcons, they are almost the exact same.
Yeah, I have it right here. Where is it? Yeah, he has 3 years, $39 million, and Saquon got 3 years, $37 million.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney is being paid more to be a wide receiver 3 than Saquon is to be a featured back on one of the best offenses in the NFL.
And not only that,
I mean, I think that. Sorry to interrupt you, but where did Darnell Mooney went to Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think he's probably a wide receiver 2, maybe not a wide receiver 3. I think he'll back up.
I put Pitts above him in Atlanta, an option 3.
Oh, okay.
And he's really
the third option.
4.
Yes.
He's really option 4 behind Bijan.
Sorry,
because Bijan's down there.
No, you're right.
He's really option 4. He's being paid the same amount as Saquon Barkley to
third
be
option in the receiving game. Yes, but he will
fourth
definitely
overall option in the offense.
He'll be lining up alongside Drake London. So
I do think that Mooney could have a 1,000-yard year though.
Yeah,
I believe
and
it.
I thought
I
it
do
was
too.
crazy that they paid him that much. He had like 300 yards last season.
Yeah, he did not. But he had a great season the year before, and I think it's just the fact that they did switch out quarterbacks twice during the year. And
I think it's the fact that he had Justin Fields throwing to him. They're like, well, if it was
Well,
anybody else, he'd have, you know,
I was gonna
1,000
say,
yards.
Well, he had
I feel like there were a lot of
1,000-yard
plays that were
season
set
with
up for.
Fields.
I think there were a lot of
Exactly.
plays set up for DJ Moore as well,
Yes.
because he went the fuck off. He had a great season, like
They wanted to get
unbelievable.
DJ Moore in space, and
Yep.
you know they wanted to let him work. So we also
And
have
then
some other deals here. Wide receiver, you have
Oh
T.
wait,
Higgins.
whoa! Don't move on from the running backs yet. There's still two more I want to talk about.
Oh, who you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, I want to mention that Zach Moss going to Cincinnati
Yep.
on a 2-year, $8
Oh,
million
and
deal.
My bad.
Hold
Joe
on. No.
Mixon.
Yep, that's what I was getting
My
at.
bad. My bad.
I
Go
was
for
going to
it,
get
go
there
for it,
first,
go
but
for
let me
it.
finish on Zach Moss. So apparently the Cowboys were looking at Zach Moss, and they said that he was asking for too much money. But you're telling me that Cincinnati paying him $4 million a year is too much money?
Apparently,
what the
everyone
fuck is Jerry Jones? What is he saying?
Apparently, everyone is too much money for Jerry Jones.
Yeah, Derrick Henry at
apparently.
$8 million a year is too rich.
Well, because I was going to point out before we go to the Joe Mixon talk, I wanted to say that Zach Moss, I would have took him for the Cowboys for 2 years, $10 million. I would have took him for 2 years, $12 million, and then that would have probably been my max. $6 million a year, perfect. Leave it at that. But you're telling me that the Bengals got him for 2 years, $8 million, and the Cowboys didn't because he was asking for too much money? Like, what the fuck are the Cowboys doing right now? They're not doing shit. I
was shocked to see Derrick Henry sign for $8 million a year and find out that was a little too rich for Jerry Jones. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Well, after the Austin Eckler sign, I'm just sitting there like,
yeah,
You
I would have
guys
taken
coulda
him for
had
that, dude.
So many guys.
I would have taken two of them for what they paid.
I would have given
these
Eckler
other-
2 years, $20 million. No question.
10
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yep.
I would have done that. No question.
It's crazy. But now to the big one that it's not really the Zach Moss one, but it is the Joe Mixon one. That was the big one I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Because Houston just got a fucking deal here. They got the running back that they need to counter the pass that they already have. It's already going to be great with CJ Stroud. We've seen it already. And now they have a running back who is a stud who can also catch passes out of the back. Like this Houston team, watch out, dude.
I mean, Houston's going to be good.
They're going to be good again.
Houston did lose a couple of key defenders, though.
But I do.
So don't worry.
All they got to do is just draft new defenders.
They
got everything.
All they got to do is draft a new quarterback. All they got to do is draft new wide receiver. It's easy.
Well, they have their wide receivers are good. Their quarterback's good. Their running back's good. Their tight end's good. They just re-signed Dalton Schultz as well. I mean,
Buffalo's running back was good. Buffalo's quarterback was good. Buffalo's wide receivers were good. Buffalo's tight end was good. Buffalo's defense was good. And how'd that work out for them in the AFC? Exactly. So, all right, we're moving on to wide receiver now.
Yep. On the wide receivers.
So we got T. Higgins and Michael Pittman Jr. both getting the franchise tag. Or no. Pittman re-signed for 3 years, didn't he? Yeah, here I have it. 3 years, $70 million for Michael Pittman after he was franchise tagged. T. Higgins has asked for a trade from the Bengals, so watch out for that. Mike Evans re-signs with Tampa for 2 years, $41 million a year. It's a big one.
Good sign.
As we stated, Darnell Mooney, 3 years, $39 million. Gabe Davis to the Jags for 3 years, $39 million.
Yep. I think that's just kind of a replacement for I can't think of his name.
DJ
Calvin.
Calvin
I was going to say
Ridley.
Calvin Ridley because I'm
Calvin
assuming Calvin Ridley's not coming back.
He's still on the market, isn't he?
Yeah, so latest rumor with him is it's between the Jags or the Patriots. That's the latest rumors on that front. I will say that Devin Duvernay signed with the Jags for 2 years, $8.5 million. And then this guy, Kendrick Bourne, he has been extremely productive in New England when given the opportunity. And I think he is going to, I think if they can get him a quarterback in there and he can truly get some targets, I think he'll be good. But
where did he go?
He re-signed with New England for 3 years, $19 million.
That's a good,
So, I mean, I don't love it because I would have liked to see him go somewhere like a Jacksonville, like a Houston, like somewhere like that. But, I don't hate it either. And I think we're all shocked that the GOAT hasn't been signed yet. Chase Claypool, he's still a free agent, so we're all shocked there. But I'm sure he'll land somewhere.
That's probably who the Cowboys will sign. They'll come in and be like, "Oh, let's just get Chase Claypool." And
Chase Claypool is great. Riley, what do you think of Chase Claypool?
I cannot think any lower of him.
Oh, that's not true.
How many teams has he let down at this point? He's let
all
the
of
Bears
them
down. He's let the Dolphins down.
Let the Steelers down.
But that was more off the field. At least on the it was somewhat active. I mean, now I can't even say that.
You're cutting in and out a little bit, bud. We kind of lost you there for a second.
Oh, I was saying that at least in Pittsburgh, he was putting up numbers on the field. Like, it was more off the field stuff that got him pushed out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
At least he gave them something.
TikTok, baby, TikTok.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, you got any more wide receivers for us, Spoon? Anything else? No? All right, cool. Spoon's my double check guy. I got to check with him before we move on because I get a tendency to jump forward in the timeline. So he's the guy who keeps me in check. Thank you very much, Spoon. So next we got tight ends. So I'm just going to go down the list here with this one.
There's only like one big signing.
Yeah, there isn't any major tight end stuff. You got Dalton Schultz re-signing with the Texans, 3 years, $36 million, which is so Dalton Schultz and Saquon Barkley are making the same amount of fucking money, which makes no sense to me. Hunter Henry re-signs with New England, 3 years, $27 million. Noah Fant, 2 years, $21 million with the Seahawks. Colby Parkinson from the Seahawks goes to LA, 3 years, $22 million. Mike Gesicki, the greatest gritty of all time.
That was the one I was going to bring up.
Cincinnati on a 1 year, and the official contract numbers haven't been released yet as of 11 o'clock today when I printed this out.
It's showing 3.25 mil on my end.
3.2. Okay. And then Irv Smith Jr. signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. Go Irv Smith. And then Jonnu Smith signs with the Dolphins, 2 years, $10 million. Did I miss any?
I don't think so. None that I can.
Cool.
I was just gonna Everett one.
Go ahead.
Oh, Gerald Everett signs with the Bears.
Yep. I don't know what the numbers are on it. I just know he signed today.
Okay, that was after I printed this out.
The only thing I was going to say on the tight ends is that I do like the 1 year, 3.25 mil for Mike Gesicki and Cincinnati. I think that was a really good sign. Only 3 mil for a quarterback, for a tight end that did not have a decent quarterback thrown to him last year. Now he has a better quarterback thrown to him. Maybe he'll get back to his original self. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? So I'm gonna streamline the offensive line here because I know a lot of people don't care as much as we do about offensive line talent, so I don't want to bore you guys. But I am going to touch a little bit on them because I care about the big men up front, and I think they make the world go round. So we got not really any offensive tackles. Okafor signed with New England for 1 year, $4 million. That's really the biggest one so far. At center, you have Andre James re-signing with Las Vegas for 3 years, $24 million. You have Aaron Brewer signing with the Miami Dolphins for 3 years, $21 million. Other than that, nothing really huge there. At guard, we have Kevin Dotson re-signed with LA, somebody I actually really wanted on the Vikings, 3 years, $48 million.
I was going to say they signed both of their offensive guards.
Yeah. Both of them coming back. You have Robert Hunt signed with the Panthers, 5 years, $100 million. So $20 million a year is pretty damn good for a guard. Ezra Cleveland re-signed in Jacksonville, 3 years, $28 million. Looking here. Yeah, Jonah Jackson re-signed with LA, 3 years,
Mitch Morris still on the market?
Mitch Morris?
Center from Buffalo?
I'm looking right now.
He's not
on my list. I don't think so. I think he re-signed before the start of free agency because he's not on my list here.
Oh, okay.
Unless I have. This was printed out at 11:30 today, so I don't have him on either of these two lists here. Yeah, I got nothing.
All right.
So you can double Spoon if you want to double check Mitch Moore's contract situation for us. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
I will say that we're gonna move over to D-line real quick. D-line's been kind of crazy. D-line's been good. We've had Chris Jones obviously re-signing back with Kansas City. Justin Matabike, I think
You
that's
said
how
Mitch
you.
Morse, right?
Yes.
With Jacksonville.
He signed with Jacksonville.
Yep.
Okay. There we go.
It
There's
doesn't look
that.
like a whole lot. It says base salary of 1.5 mil for the first year, 4.3 mil for the second year.
Okay.
Yeah, not a whole lot of
Cool.
money there.
Well, thank you for looking that up for us. Justin Matabike was franchise tag, but re-signed with Baltimore for 4 years, $98 million. Huge deal for him. He was an extremely good defensive interior pass rusher. Great human being. Couldn't happen to a better guy, and I'm happy for him. Christian Wilkins goes to Las Vegas, 4 years, $110 million, signing in up to play with Max Crosby. That D-line will be tough over there. Leonard Williams comes back to Seattle for 3 years, $64 million. Is there any other big names here that I'm missing? Javon Kinlaw signed with the Jets 1 year. Numbers yet to be released. We're going to go over guys who haven't signed yet in a little bit. So
Yeah, I was going to say there's still a bunch of them left.
yeah, still plenty of guys that haven't been signed. Solomon Thomas, Daniil Hunter, among others, DJ Reader. So Josh Allen, franchise tag by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yep. Brian Burns, franchise tag by the Carolina Panthers and traded to New York. So they get him there. Bryce Huff signed with Philadelphia, 3 years, $51 million. Jonathan Greenard comes to Minnesota, 4 years, $76 million. Zadarius Smith re-signed in Cleveland for 2 years, $24 million. Leonard Floyd to San Francisco for 2 year, $10 million on average. And then Andrew Van Ginkel, he goes to Minnesota, leaving Miami Beach behind. And then, let's see here, go to the next page here. See what else we got. Move on to the final page. There's AJ Espinosa, re-signed with Buffalo. Brandon Graham, re-signed with Philadelphia. Stephen Farrell signed with Washington. Details yet to be released. Yetur Gross-Matos signed with San Francisco. He's a young guy, 2 years, $18 million. So that could be a good depth piece for San Fran. 49ers fans got to be happy about that, signing good depth and edge after losing Chase Young. Which I'd like to take a second. Riley, I gave you a lot of shit for Chase Young being given up for a lesser pick than Montez Sweat, but I finally get why. It was because that Chase Young was a rental and Sweat was a long-term deal guy. So
yeah, and I don't know has Chase Young really performed to our expectations the last couple seasons?
When he's healthy, yeah.
I don't know, man. I think health is something to be judged on as well. You know what I mean? The player obviously can't.
Yeah, that's why I said when healthy, not overall.
But how many sacks did he have while on the Niners?
I don't have that number off the top of my head.
But
he was good enough to help that D-line make it to the Super Bowl.
See, I don't think he really helped them get to a Super Bowl.
Absolutely helped them. He played starting snaps for a D-line that was in the Super Bowl and widely considered the best D-line in the league last year.
49ers fans were complaining about him.
Yeah, because he's lazy.
Yes, exactly. Why would you trade what they traded a second-round pick?
No, they traded like a 4th-round pick for Chase Young.
Yeah, I don't see that as nearly as valuable as Montez Sweat was.
No, I agree with you.
But continue with what you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I just wanted to say I get why Chase Young was given up for a lesser price than Montez Sweat. Mm-hmm. So, moving on to linebacker, Patrick Queen jumps ship from a great Baltimore defense and goes to AFC North Division foe, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got Jordan Brooks here signing with the Miami Dolphins. You have Blake Cashman signing with the Vikings. Drew Tranquill re-signs in Kansas City, stays there in that defense. That'll be huge for them. Jordan Hicks signs with the Cleveland Browns. And then other than that, got a few backups in there. Nothing real major there. Yep. And then cornerback Jalen Johnson signs a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Getting big money. And then L'Jarius Sneed has been franchise tagged, but like T. Higgins, he is also seeking a trade partner to take him off of Kansas City's hands. And then lots of free agent cornerback still. Sean Murphy-Bunting has signed with the Cardinals. Ronald Darby has signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars, 2 years, $8.5 million a year. And Jeff Okudah has signed with the Texans for 1 year, $4.5 million a year. And Emmanuel Mosley, I forgot to add, re-signed with Detroit. So lots of options still at cornerback out there on the free agent market, as well as, wide receiver. So as well, we move on to safety. Safety of Antoine Winfield Jr. being franchise tagged by Tampa Bay, Kyle Duggar being franchise tagged by New England, Xavier McKinney signing in Green Bay for 4 years, $68 million. That's a huge deal for them in that back end of that defense. Another Baltimore Raven jump ship to an AFC North rival in Geno Stone signed with Cincinnati for 2 years, $15 million a year. Did you guys see what Lamar Jackson said about that?
No, but I knew he said something.
Yeah, he went on Twitter or on X and was like, "You're dead to me. You're dead to us." So I love that energy. I love it whenever guys like we just got Aaron Jones. I would love to see fucking Jordan Love talk trash on Aaron Jones for jumping ship and jumping over to us. So then you have Darnell Savage signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then Kevin Byard joining Chicago on a 2 year, $15 million deal. Taylor Rapp signs with Buffalo for 3 years, $10 million. And Brandon Jones goes to Denver for 3 years, $20 million. And that will conclude our signings as of 3/11.
Jeff Okudah to Houston. That's another corner. Or that was a corner that I don't know if you said or not.
Thank you for that. Well, that will conclude our
there you go. Sorry.
Our free agent signings on this Tuesday, the 12th of March at 3:12 p.m. So it's March 12th at 3:12 p.m. right now. Make a wish. I don't know. Do something. But alrighty, boys, that was a lot. So if you're still here with us, thanks for sticking around. That was hard to do, much less I'm sure listen to. So thank you for getting through that with us. So let's go on to the more exciting part of the show. Let's talk about upcoming free agents. I want to hear some thoughts on these guys. So there's only one guy left in the free agent market who's in CBS's top 20 free agents list to start Monday.
I know he plays for Minnesota.
He played for Minnesota. His name is Danielle Hunter.
Yep.
Danielle Hunter has been a top 5 edge rusher in every healthy season he's ever played. And I'm not saying statistically, I'm just saying when he's on the field, he's a top 5 edge rusher. And I am kind of bamboozled that he's not on a team already. I expected him to kind of be like a Wilkins and sign pretty much right away. Where would you guys like to see Danielle end up? And what are your thoughts?
Chicago.
I mean, I would love for him to end up in Dallas. Like
Mike Zimmer is the guy who drafted Danielle Hunter.
Yeah.
But realistically, at this point, since Minnesota hasn't brought him back, I don't know where he would go.
There's been a lot of steam that San Francisco is looking at him, but he's wanting $30 million
but San Francisco
a year.
Did just sign an edge already.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The market for him should be good. There's a lot of teams needing Zadarius Smith.
You mean Danielle Hunter?
Danielle Hunter. I keep messing up names. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Danielle Hunter.
The Cowboys could use him. Bears could. Literally every team just about could use him.
I think his market is massive, and I think he's taking time to sit down and really think about where he wants to go, because I think he could command $30 million a year, which is Justin Jefferson level money, which is crazy to me. And so I don't.
But I mean, you might get a team that can pay that. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Like a Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking a Giants maybe.
Yeah. Well, they just traded for Brian Burns. I doubt they're gonna.
Yeah, they're probably not going to. But.
Yeah, they just signed Brian Burns to a crazy big deal, so I doubt they're gonna reach over and sign him. So
maybe the Titans could use a defensive player.
Titans could use it. So after that, the next guy up on the list of any significance is Cameron Curl, safety from Washington. I don't know if anybody needs so many crazy safety help right now. I don't really see a great landing spot anywhere. I could see maybe Miami, maybe if they can clear some cap room. I could see a potential landing spot in Seattle. They just cut both their starting safeties, so those are both options. but we'll just see where he ends up.
I got a couple above him probably.
Oh, where?
I have
That
Calvin
are
Ridley.
unsigned?
Calvin
That are
Ridley
unsigned?
that are unsigned.
I
Yes.
wouldn't put Calvin Ridley above him.
Well, it's him. I also have Tyron Smith probably above him. He's probably
Oh, yeah, Tyron Smith definitely above him.
Yeah, Tyron Smith. I'm glad that the Cowboys let him go because he's just too injury prone. But I mean, he's worth a lot on the market right now to a team that's willing to pay him.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, that's
big if. Chase Young also still a free agent, so that's huge. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the dude's so young still. He's 24 still. He's turning 25 this year. There's just
Chase Young is a great edge rusher.
There's just so much talent there that you can, if you can unlock it and make, the 24-year-old not be lazy, which is pretty easy. It's not like 24-year-olds are known for being the most motivated, outgoing people in the world. It happens pretty often that young guys get lazy. So get him with the right coach, and I think he could be a dominant edge rusher. You still have Jonah Williams on the market, Stephon Gilmore, Jadeveon Clowney.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say you have some older defensive players there with Stephon Gilmore and Jadeveon Clowney who haven't been signed yet.
Yeah. Oh.
And I mean, I think Gilmore didn't play terrible last year by any means for the Cowboys. So I think
what's
that'd be a decent deal.
Hold on. Keep going. Hold on.
Oh, I was just going to say, if anybody can get Stephon Gilmore for a cheap price right now, I think that's a decent sign for a back or a second string corner.
Jonathan Owens is going to Chicago on a 2-year deal.
Yep, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, that just happened about 30 minutes ago. I just saw it, so I was reading off statistic numbers before, so didn't miss that one. Marquise Brown is still unsigned, so that's another good wide receiver target that he could be a good wide receiver too somewhere. Yep. He could go, where would I like?
I see him as I probably see him as a good wide receiver 3 though.
I mean, he was wide receiver 1 in Arizona last year and did pretty good.
I think that
he was a wide receiver 2.
He would be a decent wide receiver 2, but he would be a great wide receiver 3 in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. Levante David, as I said earlier, has returned to Tampa Bay. Kevin Zelter, I think is how you say it. Is it Zelter or Zettler? Do you know?
It's Zelter.
Zelter. Kevin Zelter, still unsigned. DJ Reader is the best interior defensive lineman, in my opinion, left on the market right now. He remains unsigned from Cincinnati, so we'll see where he ends up. I think he ends up back in Cincinnati because they need defensive interior line help, but I want him in Minnesota, so naturally that won't happen. So tell me, guys, with the way the current situations have panned out, let me pull it up here.
Oh, I do want to. I didn't know this. Apparently, Josh Allen in Buffalo, they redid his salary and it was converted to clear $16.7 million of cap space.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
They didn't do that, but I think now they have $1 million next year.
Well, that's still, it's $16 million this year to help out. So I didn't know that they did that.
So I just want to go over, that was the majority of the big name free agents left. There's still some other guys out there. There's plenty of names out there. We can't go through all of them. That would take an hour and a half just to do that. So we're not going to go through all the names, but what we are going to do is I have up in front of me here the current list of all the teams with the most cap space left in the NFL.
Okay.
And at the top of the list, I see Patriots, Commanders, Titans, and Bears. Which of those 4 teams has the brightest outlook, you could say, going forward, in your opinion?
I mean, I'm going to be a little biased, but I'm going to say the Bears just because they have multiple first-round picks that they could trade, they could keep. Our quarterback situation, whether we keep Fields, whether we take Caleb, we're going to have a quarterback either way.
Yeah.
I just think they have the best potential moving forward out of those teams just because of the assets they have in the draft.
Yeah, that's fair. Spoon?
So out of those teams, I think there's two that stand out. I'm going to put one above the other, and I personally think it's the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
So I think they had some big signings so far. They have a top pick in this upcoming draft. I don't hate Sam Howell by any means. I think he's a good quarterback. He just made a lot of mistakes last year, throwing the most picks, obviously, but he also was right up there with touchdowns thrown. I think they're going to have a top-tier defense this year, unfortunately. And I think out of those four teams, they do have the biggest turnaround upcoming next season, possibly 2 more years from now. But I do agree with Riley. I do think that the Bears do have a bright future. I think they're about to draft their quarterback of the future. And after these signings, I think that they have a bright future ahead of them.
Did they have the most wins out of all those teams last year? I know we talk about them having the number 1 overall pick, but it wasn't because they were the worst team.
Yeah, no. I think they had the most wins because the Titans pick in front of them, the Commanders. So I would say the Bears did have the most wins out of that group. Now, my next question here is: there are currently only 4 teams in the negative cap space-wise currently. The Chargers, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens. Now, let's take the Chiefs out because they're the easy answer. So we're going to go Ravens, Bills, Chargers. What team do you think makes the Super Bowl the soonest?
I'm going to go Buffalo. I'm sure that's a shock to you guys, but
not even a little bit.
No, it's not.
I think the Chargers are in a much bigger hole. I would put them third. I don't see them making a Super Bowl next year, and I think Baltimore and Buffalo are right there together.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think the Chargers are up there by any means. I think they're definitely third.
Yes.
I'm the outlier here.
I think so.
I'm alone here.
If I had to choose one of them, I would say, like, next year, who has a better chance? It would be Baltimore. Maybe for the 2 or 3 years later, I would say Buffalo.
Baltimore just lost its defensive coordinator and a few big name pieces on its defensive side of the football.
Big running back that they needed for years now. For a long time.
Their running game's always been near the top of the NFL.
And now they actually have a big name running back who is good, who can run the ball now.
Hold on. When you say that, Brenner, are you talking purely running back, or are you talking as a team? Because Josh Allen's putting up 700 yards already.
I'm saying as a team. That the Ravens are always near the top of the NFL.
Oh, the Ravens. My bad. I thought we were talking Buffalo. No.
The Ravens. They lost a lot of defense, and their defense won them a lot of football games last year. And their defensive coordinator, who played a big part in that, is now in Seattle. The Bills are just leveraged half of their team to get out of salary cap hell. So I think Josh Allen's going to have to play both sides of the ball for Buffalo to even have a chance to make the playoffs next year. So the Chargers...
You're that low on them? You don't know playoffs next year?
I mean, they have Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Dalton Kincaid. I'm not huge on Cook. He played well this year, but I think that was more of a product of the rest of the offense, not him being good. And then... outside of that, they restructured Von Miller, so he comes back, but he's old. Tre'Davious White's gone. They have Ed Oliver still. After that, none of these names really do much for me. I mean, I just don't. I think they lost too much talent. Like, they just don't have the talent to be competitive with a Kansas City.
You're saying that, but there's just no way that me or Riley would pick the Chargers in this situation whenever they have to come out of the AFC West with the Chiefs. Like, come on.
Yeah, they'll be a wild card team, but I think that gives them the advantage in the situation. They play the Chiefs twice a year anyways, so they're literally graded against the Chiefs, so they know, like, that's in the front part of their mind is we have to beat Kansas City. And if you beat Kansas City, you're at the top already.
So essentially all three of us are picking different teams here.
Yeah.
Because I got the Ravens, you got the Chargers, and Riley's got the Bills.
So. It really depends on what Harbaugh does in LA. If he scraps the whole team and doesn't run anything back, then obviously the Chargers are out of it for me. But
like I said, they haven't done anything this offseason. They're going to have to make some cuts.
They don't.
Well, it sounds like they're waiting to try and trade Bosa and Mack.
I don't think they're going to do either of those things.
You think
say that,
keep
but
them both?
I think they keep them both. I think they restructure Derwin James. I think they probably cut Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. And then, because, I mean, Harbaugh's a defensive guy. That's all he wants is defense. You're going to tell me he's going to cut his two best defensive assets or trade them? No way. But we'll see. We'll see. So, overall, I just want to take a second here. Riley, I asked you a question a little earlier. This pertains to draft stuff, so we're going to skip a little ahead of free agency real quick.
All right.
So, T. Higgins, free agent.
Yes.
Or, well,
not anymore.
Free agent.
He was.
He's not a free agent. He's been franchise tag requesting a trade. If the Cincinnati Bengals offered the number 18 pick and T. Higgins for the number 9 pick, would you take that deal?
I would absolutely take that deal.
Yep.
But I also believe that he doesn't truly want to be traded. I think nowadays, a lot of times when you see star players get tagged, their first reaction is to demand a trade. Like, I really don't know if he'll end up leaving Cincinnati or not.
Well, here's the thing, too. With his franchise tag, he's making $21.8 million this year.
Yeah.
There's not another receiver that went into the free agency yet that has been signed to a deal where they're making over $15 million a year. So I think that he's definitely just going to be like, you know what, I'm going to take the money, I'm going to hold it, and I'll test free agency next year, which is exactly what he should do.
Well, they can tag him again next year, can't they? You can tag a player twice.
You can tag a player 3 times in their career.
Yeah.
Oh, then, yeah, I could. I don't know what would be in his best interest other than to demand a trade. You know, I mean, I don't think he ends up getting paid between Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Like, he is going to be the last option out of those 3 to get a long-term deal.
I don't think there's another team that's going to be willing to pay him $21.8 million right now.
I mean, I could absolutely see the Bears doing it. I could see the Titans doing it. I could see with that on. So for the argument of Cincinnati, with him on the books, the Bengals still have $45 million in cap space with his $21 million on the books already. Now, granted, they have to pay Jamar Chase, which is going to be $30 to $35 million a year after JJ gets his deal. But I think so. That's a whole nother thing. Can we talk about that real quick? Justin Jefferson, can we talk about that for a sec?
Oh, go for it.
JJ, there's been a lot of rumors and steam that the Vikings and JJ are caught up, and the contract talks have stalled, this and that. That the Vikings GM, let me be very, very upfront about this, has said Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league and deserves to be paid like the best receiver in the league. So they're going to get him his money. The hang up right now is on the Jefferson side of things. I guarantee you he wants it's the 3-headed monster of Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and JJ all waiting to see who's going to sign first, because the second one of them signs, the next one's going to sign for $3 million more a year. And then the second that person signs, the next one's going to sign for $2 million more a year, just so they can be like, well, I'm the highest paid receiver. So it's just that's the big thing.
News.
4-time deep Pro Bowler Danielle Hunter is signing with the Houston Texans. Just dropped. So Houston and Minnesota trade DNs essentially. We get Greener, they get Danielle Hunter, and it has not yet dropped on what the contract is yet, but as soon as that drops from Rappaport, let's see if he tweeted it out real quick.
Is it safe to say that Houston Texans is definitely our pick to come out of the AFC South at this point after all these trades and free signings?
God, it was my pick before free agency, much less now.
Yeah, now I definitely, especially after getting Joe Mixon, they got their running back. They're keeping their tight ends. Like they have a good duo at wide receiver. Now they just got to stud edge rusher.
2 years, $49 million,
Damn.
with 48 of that fully guaranteed.
Oh, wow.
So 49 mil, 48 guaranteed.
With a max value of 51 with incentives. That means
Damn.
he essentially just that is crazy for a D lineman.
Especially
Houston's going all in, dude. They're ready to win.
Oh my god. Wow. Good
They're
for
ready
him.
to win.
Texas
Love
back.
Deion. He's from the Houston area. He went to LSU. He's a great guy. He's done nothing but good for Minnesota. Good on you, bud. We love you. Hope you get everything that's coming to you. I hope you have a great run down in Houston, and I hope we beat you 49-0 in the Super Bowl.
I might have to switch Texas teams right now. Jump on.
Yeah, just hop on over to Houston.
Looks like they're going to be the team to come out of Texas right now. That's going to be the best.
Texas football's on a roll right now. They got 2 good teams down there. Well, God, I'm glad that dropped right now. I was really that was the big thing for me on what Danielle Hunter was going to do. So that's
crazy.
Scratch that
right
off.
Scratch that off.
I know you were bringing up Justin Jefferson though. That's who we were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, he is at the caliber of Randy Moss, in my opinion.
He deserves to be paid like the best non-quarterback in the league.
And I mean, I've been seeing reports that other receivers are coming out and saying like, "Hey, man, like he deserves to be paid $40 million a year."
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins just came out and said that yesterday. That he's like, I see all these receivers getting the bag. It just makes me think that Justin Jefferson should be getting $40 million a year. Sorry, I'm just reading more contract details on Danielle Hunter.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, would you, if you're a Vikings fan?
Yeah.
Would you keep Justin Jefferson for $40 million a year?
It depends on what the trade market looked like. If the trade market looked like a Joe Burrow, like I could get Joe Burrow in a first-round pick or something along that line for Justin Jefferson, I send Jefferson off immediately. The only way I wouldn't sign JJ to a $40 million deal is if a top 5 quarterback was on the table in the deal. If that's a scenario, then I'm all ears. But other than that, JJ took Nick Mullins and went off for 200 yards last year. Nick fucking Mullins. Okay, that JJ is quarterback proof. He's a generational. We hear the generational prospect a lot, and we've talked about it on the show that generational prospect and generational talent aren't the same thing. He is a generational talent.
Did you see what Tyler Eifert tweeted today, by the way?
I did not.
Sources. So this is obviously, who Tyler Eifert is.
Yeah.
Sources telling me Jefferson to Cincy is in motion.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. It's all smoke. There's there's nothing there. It's just the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson connection is all it is. I've seen T. Higgins and 2 first-round picks. Let me tell you, fuck you. If you think I'm giving him up for a bag of fucking chips and a couple rookie prospects, you're fucking out of your mind. Okay? JJ is a guy that can help win you a Super Bowl. That is, that will carry you through a playoff run. JJ is that level of player, and unless it's what was that?
So I was gonna say, so if Joe Burrow, let's take him out of the picture. He's not in the trade. Is there anything?
No deal.
There's no deal whatsoever.
I mean, it would have to be a Herschel Walker-esque deal for me to even connect. It would have to be bigger than the Russell Wilson deal a couple years ago, and they would only get JJ out of it.
For a wide receiver?
For the best non-quarterback in the NFL, yes. JJ is the best player that doesn't play quarterback.
He is. I would take Justin Jefferson for just about anything right now in a heartbeat to have him on my team.
JJ is the best player that doesn't play quarterback. End of story. And hey, dude, I'll put it this way: he put up 1,000 yards, missed 8 games last year.
How many picks would they have to give you guys?
Minimum 6.
Minimum. How many of those first rounders? You think
at
3?
Least 2. Minimum 2.
Minimum 2.
2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th is where I would is where the minimum line for me is. Like I might consider that deal.
It's a lot of fucking picks.
It's a lot of picks. It's a ton of picks. And it's unreasonable, but he is that fucking good.
to stack up Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Joe Burrow on a team.
At that point, I don't think the Bengals would be concerned about picks.
At that point, I don't think so either. I think that they could just go and sign just
go
the
for
next
it.
players that they need.
Send them on over. I'll take that. Send them on over. And I understand a lot of people are like, that's completely unreasonable. I wouldn't. JJ's a wide receiver. He's only worth 2 firsts and maybe a player. Like, I get what you're saying, and I get it. A normal wide receiver is only worth that. A normal all-pro wide receiver is only worth that. Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, is the best non-quarterback in the NFL, and I think he is better than probably 22 quarterbacks in the NFL. So I would rate him as, like, his value is like top 10 quarterback level value. So
do you think after the Vikings losing Kirk Cousins, it's probably time to rebuild? And maybe they do try to rebuild by trading Justin Jefferson?
That's been the theory, right? Like, everybody's like, well, Kirk's gone, they're not going to be very good. This defense last year went from 30th the year before all the way up to 15th.
Yeah, but you also just lost your best defensive player to Houston as well.
We've signed 3 new defensive players. Greenard is one of them. He came from Houston. He had 12.5 sacks and 100 less snaps than Danielle Hunter had last season. We got Brian Flores in year 2 of his scheme, so I trust him to at least make a 15-10 jump. That's what I'm expecting. So around a top 10 defense, and then this offense is built with 2 stalwart tackles, Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw, 2 stalwart wide receivers in Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. TJ Hawkinson is a studly tight end. And now you have Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. This is a ready-made car for a quarterback to step in and any quarterback to be able to drive. I mean, I'll put it this way. Kevin O'Connell took Josh Dobbs, having not met any of his teammates yet, and walked him through a game in which they won. So Kevin O'Connell, with any quarterback, I trust him. So I've heard a lot of the people be like, oh, it's time to rebuild. The Vikings said 2 years ago, we're going to do a competitive rebuild. They are rebuilding right now. This is part of the rebuild. They have been, but they're staying competitive while they rebuild. They're not flushing everything down the toilet. They're keeping some key pieces, signing some other key pieces in an effort to ramp up and go win a championship. So that's my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. We've kind of rambled on here. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to the show?
No, not right now.
Good. I just wish the Cowboys would fucking do something. That's it.
It's been a great one. It's been a lot. We know. Thank you for joining us. We hope you took something from the show. Hope we informed you on something and that you took something away from it that was positive. Last thing I'm going to add is don't be shocked if Daniel Jones is cut by the Giants within the next 24 hours. We've heard some pretty legitimate rumors that might be happening with a post-June 1st cut, which would leave $47 million dead cap this year, but would free up $30 million next year and $47 million the year after that in 2026. So other than that, you all have a wonderful week. We'll be right back here next Tuesday recording. Get you to the show next Wednesday. Until then, have a great one. We love you. Goodbye.
See you guys.